Episode 94 of the Thicc Pod, your home for all things sports, cards, and levity. I'm Jeremy, joined as always by Manny, and we've got special guests today in the house. And I think if you're doing something in the hobby, you have to do the full disclosure thing. So this is a group of fine, handsome young gentlemen who myself, Courtney, and as recently as earlier this week, Manny, have all used their services. We're joined by Tyler and Tommy, or Thomas, of TNT Cards. Tommy, make sure I'm going to dip that in the ass right now. Tyler and Tommy of TNT Cards. Gentlemen, thank you for taking some time to join us tonight.
Thank you.
No, thank you for having us.
So, Manny, I'll kick it over to you first, my friend.
No, so prior to today's episode, we took a trip down to Portage, Michigan, and we got to go into your little headquarters. And it kind of reminded me of something. I've been watching. I just want to paint a story. I've been watching Narcos a lot, and it kind of reminded me when you go into, these headquarters and everyone, they all had their shirts off and just their underwear. There's a guy walking around with the AK just to make sure no one was taking these cards. It's a serious business that TNT has down there. I walked in, Jeremy started taking off his clothes. I was like, what's going on here? Where'd you bring me? And I realized we walk in, they have $250,000 cards just handing out, like showing us left and right. It was awesome. Awesome experience. Thank you guys for letting me come. I just wanted to point that out.
Anytime. Don't worry. You see, we got the guard dog right here.
Yeah.
I love we haven't even done an intro of like who they are and what they're about. And, like when you go in, you have to be naked so you don't steal slabs.
Yeah. It's
so nobody can speak better to the TNT business than you guys. How would you describe your business? Obviously, you're a group submitter. You do consignment. Your raw card reviews, in my opinion, are second to none. And so, nobody can do your business justice better than you two. So I'll turn the floor over to you guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess kind of where it all started was back in 2018. Tommy was buying cards on my eBay, so his wife didn't see it, right? Yeah. And that's what we'll go with. But he was using my eBay account, and he was doing some buying and flipping. Huge Pavel Bure collector, so he was, buying and flipping cards for his Pavel Bure collection. And I started noticing that he was doing pretty well with it. We both had full-time jobs at the time, but I just decided, I'm going to go ahead and bid on a couple Luca Silvers. Those were hot back then. I want to say you could get them raw for like $125, $150, and PSA 10s were like $450 to $550. So we decided. I started to bid on a couple one night, and he said, I was going to bid on some Luca. So
I was already watching them. What are you doing?
Yeah,
on your account. For myself, not for you.
So at that point, we were like, why don't we just go 50-50 on it? And back then, I want to say, if you submitted 100 cards to PSA, they would give you a couple dollars off per card or something like that. And the turnaround back then was like 30 days at like $12. I mean, it was crazy, right? So we started doing that, and it got to the point to where we submitted enough, cards on our own to get a dealer account with PSA. And then from there, we just kind of slowly opened it up to friends. We just kept on kind of growing with PSA to where, we got a discount that was good enough to where we could offer a group rate to people. And then, last year, or I guess it had been the year before that now almost, we had done enough volume with PSA to where we could be competitive with, some of the other bigger group submitters. And we got fortunate enough to where Alex Draper, who's part of Wax Hub on Facebook that has like 17,000 members now, he was doing their grading, and he decided he just wanted to do full-time breaking. So he turned over anybody in the group that wanted to do grading over to us, which was a huge, from a customer base, it kind of just exploded our business quite a bit.
And we could no longer work full-time jobs and do that on the side. So it was pick one, and we decided to go all in.
Yeah. And I mean, the biggest thing, I think kind of what you touched on, Jeremy, was we offered the review service. We weren't getting the cards in that, PC sports cards or a KK, sports cards that they're bringing in, right? So that was kind of our thing was we're going to do the best job of pre-grading the cards as we can. And we're not 100%. I mean, if we tell you a card's going to 10, is there a chance that it could still 9? Yeah, I mean, we definitely miss, but we do as good of a job as we can. We have a pretty good idea of what each of the 3 grading companies are looking for. So we just kind of ran with that, and it seems like people like it.
I think our biggest benefit is, having, our TNT build your submission. So, you give us your cards, then we could determine if they should be graded and which of the 3 biggest grading companies should they be sent to. PSA 10 is obviously king, but if your card doesn't have a good chance to get a 10, now what? If it's just a little, is it good enough to go to Beckett? Can we hit their 9.5? Could it still get an SGC 10? And, that's where we kind of come in and try to make sure we're getting you the best ROI on your cards. And if it shouldn't be graded, we'll tell you. We'll be honest with you. I wouldn't grade this one. It's not going to grade high enough to make a difference.
So two things. Didn't you just get some sort of recognition from PSA where you are one of the top submitters in the industry?
So last year we hit their platinum account.
Yeah, we did over $1 million last year in just grading fees alone at PSA.
Congratulations.
That's something we've been kind of working towards, right? That's always been kind of like the benchmark. I want to say there's, maybe 20 platinum accounts. So, for,
that's including all the auction houses.
Yeah. For our operation of 5 or 6 people, to be able to pull that off, we're definitely pretty happy with that. And we've grown quite a bit with SGC over the last, year and a half or so. And same goes for BGS. So, one thing we feel pretty good about is we're one of the few group submitters that will send to all 3. And we're one of the few group submitters that will recommend where you're going to get the best results for all 3.
We're the only ones that'll do all 3 and recommend where to build, where to send your cards. I don't think anyone does that.
So I think
better than us.
I think 100%. And I think the biggest value add, and I feel like I'm going to turn into a spokesperson for TNT, is there's a lot of people that are in the same space as Manny in the hobby where and if I overstate this, Manny, please correct me. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm being an ass, but sometimes there's so many different options and there's so much information and misinformation available in the hobby that people become paralyzed. So Manny had a stack of cards. He's like, I'm not sure what to do. And I said, look, this is what I'm doing with this stack of cards. Give me your stack of cards. Here's my stack of cards. I dropped it off to you guys. And then and this might have just been timing, but within a couple of days, I got a note with each card, pictures of the card, with your recommendation of why we're suggesting, hey, these cards, SGC, these cards, PSA, and BGS. And are they all perfect? They've been pretty damn spot on, but you take a lot of the guesswork out of it. And then through that process, we become educated as a consumer because, okay, that's why they're preferential to SGC on this card. That's why they're BGS. And, we just dropped off cards and I said, hey, TCG, we're going to go to BGS. And there were, you guys did that. And so for the people out there who are just unsure, for $2 to $3, is it $2 or $3 a card where you'll tell us where to send it?
Yeah,
it can't be beat. And also,
card. And then if you have more than 20 cards, it's $2 per card. So, that saves you time and money. Anymore. If you're going to get an 8 on a card, even a 9 in some cases, you're just burning money, right? So, that $2 to $3 just to kind of save you that disappointment. It's definitely worth it. And that's really what it boils down to. It's all about, time and money, right?
Yeah.
And we want to try to, save you that time and money. And the way we treat it is if it was our card, what would we do? Would we grade it? Would we not grade it? What's the end goal with that card when it comes back? Is it going to be PC? Is it going to be resale? And those are all discussions that we try to have with our customers to make sure we're making the right decision for you.
Yeah, and most customers, their first thought is send these all to PSA. And then we'll say, okay, well, maybe here's why we should probably send this one to Beckett. Here's why this one should probably go to SGC. And they get their grades back and they're like, oh, got it. Perfect. I like it.
Well, the one thing and why tag grading had gotten a little bit of love was people like the idea of like the transparency or just understanding why their card got whatever grade it is. With this, I know when I get a card back, like, oh man, there's a print line that I didn't see. You had to look at it at a certain angle, or the centering on the back I completely missed. And to me, that's a tremendous value. And if you don't want that information, to your point, 30 cards at $3, that's $90. I'd rather pay $90 and have all those cards graded and come back PSA 4, 5, 6, and 7s where they have no resale value.
Yeah, and we have a number of customers that don't even want the review. They just want to send them to us. They just don't want to deal with the paperwork or the hassle of doing any of that themselves. They just want to put their name on a form and put them in a box and have someone else deal with it and take care of that too.
And, part of our goal is we would love to have more customers do that, right? That's less work for us. That's just data entry and ship them off. That's easy. Anybody can do that, right? So the whole idea is by doing these reviews and taking that extra time is over time, we have some customers that used to utilize the review, but now they don't necessarily have to, or they might. Austin Jackson's one of them. He'll have us review. He'll give us 20, 30 cards and say, hey, will you look at these 2 or 3? Yeah. Right. And so, and that happens, he does that on some of the bigger cards that he has. He says, hey, look at these 2 or 3. I wasn't sure if I should send it here or here, and we'll say, you know what, it looks pretty good. Go PSA or go BGS, SGC. We just, sometimes just a little bit of that, reaffirming what he was thinking was on the right track. But, it's as you submit more and more, you just kind of grow with it and get more comfortable with it. And that's what we try to help people with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's definitely a key because this was my first time actually submitting with you guys. And as a first time customer, the communication that you guys have was definitely key. Getting pictures like 2 days after the cards were in your guys' hands and detailed pictures, it makes me realize what I actually can look for. Kind of like what you guys are saying. Like there's little print lines in this little, it was like, I was sending mostly soccer Topps Chrome. And there's like little print lines in the Chrome that you don't really see at certain angles. So that was my issue. And now when I send in the future that I'm going to be aware of these type of issues. I might not catch them. You might still get them. So
you can't catch them all.
So I'm an idiot. So
no, it's impossible to catch them all. And that's the thing, right? The quality control's gotten so bad. Mm-hmm. It used to be back in 2018. We looked at the front. If the centering was good and there was no surface, you didn't even have to look at the back.
There wasn't dimples. There wasn't these indents on the back. You didn't have to look for any of that stuff. Now you got to look over every inch of that card.
I have a question because this actually could help you out. I want to know if this actually helps you guys out. With the quality control of certain brands, by grading these cards, are you able to kind of get ahead of like the market saying, okay, this year I'm not buying silver because of this product's getting all these dimples, but this 2020 I could buy the silvers and it actually helps you guys in the long run. Like 2020 Topps Chrome, everyone knows there's that dimple in the back. So a PSA 8 in that aspect is actually a good grade for F1. So you guys get to see firsthand when they start getting shipped to you guys what kind of quality these type of brands are having. And
it definitely makes a difference for us, because we still like to buy and flip. We don't get to do as much of it as we used to. Mm-hmm. But when we're buying raw, based on the reviews that we've done,
we know what to look for.
We definitely cherry pick.
We see thousands of cards a week. We know what to look for. It's on certain brands of cards.
That's awesome.
And so I'm thinking, like, what kind of competitive advantage is that, knowing that, hey, the pop on this particular card is about to go through the roof. If we're holding that, it is time to sell now before all these folks get their cards back. So grading is just only one portion of your business. You also do consignment. I'm looking at your eBay, over 1,600 followers, almost 30,000 items sold, 100% positive feedback. Can you talk about that portion of your business?
Yeah. So our goal really this year, because we feel pretty good about having the grading aspect of it dialed in. So what we kind of decided is we wanted to try to be that one-stop shop, right? To where most people, especially a lot of the customers we're dealing with, are customers that are hitting cards and breaks. Then they want to grade it to get the best value add, or they just want to sell it raw and, use those funds to maybe buy into the next break or, what have you. So over the last once we hired Kenny, who you saw before we jumped on, and Mike, so we had a little extra manpower. We decided to offer that as an option. To where customers, if we have a card that maybe doesn't pass inspection, then we can put it to auction. And then, of course, as their graded cards come back, they can, auction them off to help pay for their grading costs. And then, of course, get back, whatever, positive balance was remaining, once we got them auctioned off for them. So, and then, of course, with the raw cards, we try to be as detailed as we can. For any issues, to be transparent with that.
Yeah, we didn't grade it. There's a reason, and if it needs to be highlighted, we're going to show it.
But so we started adding that, and it's definitely been over the last 60 to 90 days, that's really ramped up. And then we just had something else kind of fall into our lap, to where
we can just buy them.
We can just buy them. We basically have for slabs, got to be Beckett 9.5, PSA 10, and some SGC, to where it's basically $200 to $1,300 is the price range, and we can offer 80 to 85% of eBay comps.
So if your cards come back from grading and you just want to sell them and cash out, we'll give you 80 to 85% of what the last eBay comp was, as long as it's a Beckett 9.5, SGC 10, PSA 10, and it's got to be $200 to $1,300.
Yeah, it's got to have some flair to it, But they want us to buy a minimum of 100 cards a week, and I think in all reality, they probably set the bar a little bit too low. And I know once we start producing 100 cards a week, they're going to want more. So at the end of the day, we're getting back, 1,000 cards a week minimum. So, we're looking at, just kind of speed up that process, I guess, for people that want to sell. They can take the eBay option. They can take
cash payout.
And then we're actually in talks right now we got reached out, PWCC reached out to us about maybe setting something up there to where, we can offer a cash out option, eBay auction, or we can send your cards to PWCC if you'd rather try that. So, it looks like we're going to have 3 options here in the near future,
so we'll
to sell these cards when they come back.
Determine what cards will get graded, where to send them, and then help you cash it out if that's what you want to do.
And you
cards back in money.
You guys heard it here that their eBay is a bigger eBay. So if you're like me, I struggle selling because I don't have a bigger account on eBay. So like they were saying, one-stop shop, you could get it graded and have it sold right there and there. You get the cards and don't see them again, which is key. I love that.
Yeah, we have a lot of customers. The breakers send it right to us. We grade it, get it back. They never even see the card. They watch it get opened, and then they just see the money come in. That's it.
So you're saying Jeremy and I could buy cases and just ship it to your
Yeah,
you guys flip it for us?
So I just want to point out that you guys were gracious enough. I think you guys are the only 2-time people to appear on Hobby Night School. And one of the original Hobby Night Schools that you guys did was how to sell on eBay, and just shows what kind of person Manny is, who that resource is readily in front of him. He chooses not to watch, then gets on here and bitches and complains that he can't sell anything.
I watched
eBay's it's a pain in the butt to deal with. The customers are a pain in the butt.
There's more non-payers now than there used to be.
And just remembering to ship the stuff, and we have employees that help us do it because it's a pain. No one likes doing it.
Mm-hmm. But if you guys and gals, if you're listening and paying attention, I know everybody likes to either be like, I'm a flipper or I'm a collector, but there's a lot of people who we buy and sell certain cards so we can continue to buy the grails and the PC cards that we want. You guys are removing damn near all friction. All I have to do is get the cards to you. You're going to review it. You're going to tell me what's good. You're going to send it to whatever grading service is going to get me the best grade. And then at that point, either you can buy it for the repack program or you can throw up on consignment. So, with SGC, with quick turnarounds, you're looking at, a couple days to get to you, a couple days to review, maybe a week to be sent out, a week or 2 back, and then a week for an auction. All of a sudden, money hits PayPal without having to do anything other than get the cards to you and maybe check your Facebook or respond to your messenger. I think that's a pretty damn good service, especially for a lot of folks where time is the most valuable thing that they have.
Yeah, for most people, they don't do it full time, right? We couldn't for a long time.
Yeah.
To where we were working our full-time jobs, and We did enough, to where we were able to get to this, but, and even now, the two of us can't do it just ourselves.
No.
We had to hire other people to,
And we need more.
make sure that we could get that done. So, and we're fortunate with the two that we have, or the three that we have. We got Matt over here. We got to show him. He's over here.
Matt, sell your P Wills.
Can you see him?
Look at my guy working. What's up, Matt?
Let's talk about this now.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you out, Jeremy.
He's entering TSA right now. How many cards?
Got about 400, 500 right now for just bulk. So we're going to have about 700-ish.
700-ish in 3 days?
Just PSA.
We'll take it.
So,
Yeah.
That's incredible. I've got a bone to pick with Matt. I walk in, and then my man, just out of nowhere, he's like, "Hey, I've got all these short print, low numbered P Wills and PSA 10. Do you want to buy them right now?"
Yep, you weren't even in
What
the
are the
office
odds?
for like 10 seconds. He saw you, and he went right to his case.
oh, yeah.
Didn't even say hi. Just said,
You never pass on an opportunity.
No.
and I tell you,
There-
he times it.
When someone's got money, Matt, you know it.
Matt times that just right. He knows somebody likes something. He's got it on hand.
Matt, listen to me. There is not another motherfucker walking around with Patrick Williams in his pocket. What are the odds of that shit happening, man?
Number
You're a
5,
shyster.
PSA 10s. No worries. No worries. I got you, buddy. I'm your pusher. It's okay.
When we walked in, I did see Tommy get on his phone. Probably texted him to come in. Hurry up. Jeremy's here.
No, I am telling you. I was there the week before. Tommy wasn't there. All hell was breaking loose. Nobody was working. Cards were missing. And then Tommy came back and he whipped all them boys into shit,
Hey.
man.
We needed it.
Everyone's
What?
back in the place.
What's some of the I'm curious because it seems like all roses, right? What are some of like the highs and the lows of your industry? I was curious about that.
I mean, start with the negatives, I guess. I mean, some of the it's good and bad. I mean, business is definitely doing well, but sometimes we get to a point to where 10 days out for reviews, and we want to get these cards done and shipped off and make that's what the customer expects. And some days like today, with the holiday and the mail that comes in today, I mean, it was like 4 baskets. Postman walks up to the door, goes back to the truck, comes back, and I'm like.
And then FedEx showed up, and then UPS showed up, and I mean, between the submissions and the cards that were sent in for review, I bet we probably got in over 1,000 cards today, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's like, man, when are we ever going to get some time off?
Mm-hmm.
And part of that's just been kind of growing to come up with other processes that will help
To
take
speed things
time,
along.
and free us up a little bit. So. And it's been one of those things for the longest time. Tommy and I didn't have to trust anybody else to do anything else. So it's been working with Mike, working with Kenny, Matt, who's been submitting with us for a long time. But it was learning to trust them, and put more on their shoulders and see what they could handle. And we're getting to the point where we're in a really good place. And something like Matt owns his own business outside of this. He does this kind of part-time, all of our data entry. And so he gives us a lot of, feedback and recommendations on, what he would do in his own business. And, one of the things was we're just going to have to get to the point where we're okay with being a week out on reviews. There's nothing we can do about it. The cards are not going to stop coming in. And some of our
And most customers, that's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll wait. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'm like, I know, but I
it's not okay with us,
I
but
don't
it's
like it.
really just the new norm. And the customers that were part of it in the beginning, to where they were maybe used to their cards being done within a day or two, it was just kind of retraining them while we were retraining ourselves, to where unfortunately it's going to take a little bit of time, but you're going to be happy with the results.
Yeah.
And that's what we just kind of have to keep on telling ourselves, is the results are going to be there, but good things take time.
I would much rather wait a week or two and have the quality of the review remain the same, as opposed to somebody just being like, "Hey, let's just clear this backlog and let's just push them through."
Yeah.
That's why there was other.
There's nowhere to hide. The results are going to come eventually.
Yeah. We can't hide from that.
No.
We're not just forcing this stuff out.
Yeah.
No. And the other thing was, we talked about, do we just offer two different types of review? Do we offer a review with no pictures, or do we just keep it the way that it is? And we kept on going back to keeping it the way that it is, because some cards, you need to see why we decided to go to BGS or SGC or PSA. Some cards are big enough that even if there is a flaw, you still have to take your shot because, there's still that, even if it's a 20 or 30% chance to get a 10, it's worth the upside if it hits, but we want to make sure, if it doesn't hit, this is why. And, so we just kind of had to get used to it. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we're going to get you good results.
And some of the other lows too. And, granted, we send, sometimes 2,000 cards a week into grading. And every once in a while, you'll end up with a 5 or a 4. You're just, that there's nothing more disappointing than, and a lot of times it's, we know every time now, it's always those little fingernail. They look like little indents on the front. They're so hard to catch.
Sometimes they're big and sometimes they're small.
Yes.
And a lot of times they're just in a little spot that, you're going to miss it once in a while.
Is it that spot where they get it out of the top loader, that top middle? I've seen so many
it's in weird places.
It's always in this weird little place. You can't. Sometimes you can't even see it. You have to part of my review now was I take a microfiber and I run my finger over the whole entire card on Prism, Mosaic, all because and you just have to. You sometimes you can't see them. You have to just feel them.
Oh wow, that's good to know. Because like I said, I've been getting cards on eBay buying them, and it's that thumbprint where they're trying to get the card out of the top loader or put it in, and they're like jamming their thumb in there trying to get the thumb.
And that's something. Yeah. I don't think it's their thumb. I really think that's something in the manufacturing process.
Yeah,
because that same exact thing. I mean, we've seen it down by their knees. I mean, down towards the bottom third of the card. They're
when you look at an order, you see 500 card order and you see a 5. You're like, yep, I know why that got a 5.
Yeah, it's one of two things.
It doesn't happen often. Trust me, we catch a lot more than we miss, but. There's nothing more disappointing when we miss, and on a card. I got a 4 at SGC the other day, and I felt awful. The patch window had a big crease out of it, and it kind of blended in with the card, and it was right above the sticker, and I just missed it.
Well, you rejected to begin with.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You didn't even look at the patch window because the corners were so bad.
That is true. I sent a picture of the corners. I said, don't send it. And then he said, just send it anyways. And I didn't realize how bad it really was. I stopped reviewing it after I took pictures of the corners.
Well, you did. You said not to send it.
Yeah, so I guess I didn't, but you
still feel bad.
You still feel bad.
Yeah, of course. No, go ahead, Jeremy.
No, so I was just going to, I would imagine my fear being the bulk grade guy would be, I can only imagine that your DMs are flooded with people asking, where's my cards?
Yeah, we get a decent amount of that. But
the turn times for the grading companies has improved so much. It's back to, I think PSA's longest they're out is 60 days right now. 60, maybe a little longer than that.
With Beckett and SGC, it's like
SGC's like
2 weeks door to door. So,
but most customers get it. They, we have a Google Doc in our Facebook group, and once our website's done, you'll be able to get updates a lot faster than checking the Google Doc yourself. But no, I mean, our messages get flooded on a daily basis. Don't get me wrong; we get messages galore, but it's
the good thing is we got 2 eyes on them.
Yeah.
So if it was just one of us doing the messages, it would be we couldn't do it.
If you guys, or you guys both. But I mean, every customer that we have that submits cards with us is in a group message, either a text message on IG or Facebook with me and Tyler in there. So when a customer sends a message, either one of us can respond to it at any time of the day, and we respond pretty fast all the time. Try to, at least. It gets hard, but
it's like a family-owned business that's grown into like a bigger organization, and that's where I think you guys grew the correct way, because it seemed like you guys grew in Michigan and kind of local, and then built from there. And I think you got your local customers that are true for you since day one, and now it's just grown into what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my wife does all of our social media posts on our Facebook group and Instagram, and people love those too.
But what's wild is for as big as you are, I actually think that you're relatively unknown to the masses within the hobby.
Yeah,
You haven't
we
even scratched the
scratched
surface,
the
I believe.
I don't think. Yeah.
No, it's getting there though.
You better start hiring somebody.
I mean, I know.
Well, that's the good thing, and that's one of the Kenny. We met him at the Shipshawana card show.
Yep.
And we were just kind of shooting the shit or whatever, and he was actually, I think, dropping off a card or two to get graded. And it was right before I quit my full-time job. Tommy was full-time at the time. And I said, well, I'm getting ready to quit, and it looks like we're probably looking at an office. So just, keep on reminding me that you're interested. And
he was just getting out of the Marine Corps, so he was looking for something to do, and he liked cards. So
yeah, and it just worked out with him. And then my former employer, the guy that replaced me, his fiance was looking for another job, so just kind of fell into our lap, and we ended up with, it's hard to hire people right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know just from where I came from, I mean, that was our biggest struggle, was hiring good people, and we hit the jackpot. I mean, with the two that we have, they are awesome. And then of course our buddy Matt, who helps out, luckily he has a very flexible schedule with his work. And then of course Tommy's wife, and then my sister, she helps out when she's not teaching. So, and I think we might have somebody else lined up here relatively soon, who's submitted with us quite a bit once he's done with school. And even if not, I mean, just going to the local card shows down in Shipshawana, there's so many good people down there at the B Sports Festival where we could find somebody there. I'm pretty confident with that.
No, and we haven't done a whole lot of advertising either. It's a lot of word of mouth and word of mouth and word of mouth. And
that's the way to grow, though, is that way, the slow and steady, and then get bigger and bigger through word of mouth, because more and more people trust you and will stay with you guys. I like that kind of build.
eBay, we've never even really offered eBay consignment. It's just a few word of mouth here, word of mouth there, word of mouth here, and
in the last 30 days, I think we're at 200,000 in the last 30 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's
all word of mouth. I mean, it's probably only 15 or 20 customers.
Yeah, and we treat eBay like everything is our own. It needs to be shipped fast, and our feedback is 100% perfect, and we're going to keep it that way.
Love it. I noticed you said Shipshawana, and we're at Shipshawana. Is there any other card shows that you're going to be attending, that you plan on attending? If people want to meet you guys in person, see if you guys will be there.
That's
Manny. These guys are too modest. They were just vendor spotlight at Johnny Ford's the other day.
Ford's, and that was really cool. It was really nice of them to, they just decided to really kick it up again this year to where I think they're going to do one every month, and they chose us first. So that was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And it was a great time. I mean, the foot traffic was awesome all day. We brought in probably close to 150 cards.
No, more than that.
Was it more than that?
Yeah, I don't think you saw the picture. The pictures, it was a lot.
I mean,
that's more than you think.
It was nonstop. We were talking to somebody. It was almost like we were in Shipshawana, really. Great group of guys up there, and definitely had a lot of fun with awesome. That. I know there's one this weekend at the K-Wing Stadium
in Kalamazoo.
So I plan on going there with Kenny to try to do some buy-in. So you'll be seeing me. I'll make sure I'll wear something with a TNT logo on it.
We got a booth at the National this year in Chicago.
Yep. Yeah, we'll be at the National all week. I know we're going to be doing the Johnny Ford show. I believe it's in May.
Okay.
You'll be there, right, Jeremy?
Yep, we're to that. So
I think Lansing's next weekend. I might walk it next weekend up there. Try to do some buy-in. Are you guys set up at that one?
I'm going to be there. I'm not sure if we're set up yet.
Okay.
We're in talks with them where we're going to be up there doing a monthly podcast live from the show, and just interviewing dealers and try to draw attention to
That's awesome.
The show. You go on social media, you always hear about California or New York with Bleecker Street, but Michigan has a pretty badass card community and all the different shops, and it's the more we work together and build one another up, I think the greater it's going to be for all participants.
Yeah, definitely something we need to get more involved with, when it comes to the shows. I think I'm going to go down to the Chicago show. I think that's coming up here in the next month or so.
Are you talking about the Skyline show that's right next to the Allstate Arena, or the Chicago Spectacular?
The Spectacular.
Okay.
I don't remember the dates on that one, but I was talking to a buddy of ours who's going to be set up there. But more or less just want to get out and just do more walking around. It's hard for us to probably set up at a show that's too far away. It's hard for us to be away from here for more than, a day. Taking just a weekend day off crushes us. We're 7 days a week. I mean, that's, Tommy on the weekends, he's working from home. I normally am in here on Saturdays for at least half the day. And, Sunday's an entry day. So Matt and I are normally here on Sundays. So it's like,
it doesn't
getting enough time to breathe to get away for a show is tough.
Tommy, I'm not missing any of this. This man's talking about he's at this show, he's walking this show. Him and Kenny are hobnobbing, buying,
We're just
sniffing coffee. Meanwhile, they've got you locked, chained to a desk, reviewing cards, man.
Don't look at his ankle right now.
Yeah, don't look at my ankle.
That's awesome.
So one thing that I think that it's kind of relatively new, but we were talking about the premier auction, and I know that you guys were going after some cards the same night that we won the Patrick Williams. With the announcement of Golden Weekly Marketplace starting, is that another website that you're going to be frequenting,
Yes.
looking for arbitrage opportunities?
Yeah, I think definitely huge buying opportunities. We talked about it when you were here with PWCC, to where, we'll bid on 100 to 150 cards a week on PWCC to get into the extended bidding. And there's 3 to 5 cards that fall through the cracks every time. And I would imagine in the beginning with the Golden auctions, it's going to be even similar, because from
it's harder.
My experience, it's harder to be a buyer on Golden than what it is on some of the others. So
do we have an account?
We do. We can buy. Yeah,
we're good.
I got that set up as soon as I saw they were going to do weekly. I said, Jeremy and I we bid against each other last week. We won and got a steal too. We got a great deal. We're like 35% eBay comps. I love it. But,
Tyler, you should go out and do all the buying. To hell with Tommy. Leave him locked in there. My man wants to flip me the bird.
Once we got that blank check with the repack, buying's so much fun.
I bet.
And
as long as people are reasonable, the hardest part with buying is trying to let your card is worth. Here's proof of what your card is worth. Here's completed sales.
With the market
what it paid
down.
For. Just because it's yours doesn't make it worth more. Just because it sold for a year ago for more, it's not worth that now. So, you have to sell it. It's yours.
We're not using September and October comps. That's just not happening.
Jeremy gave me his card, and it was kind of like your feeling. I was buying everything. He has those black cards that you could just keep spending and spending and spending.
I like it.
Yeah, it was fun. PWCC was awesome. We were bidding on each other on his debit card.
Yeah, but
that was credit, not debit, my friend. Credit, not debit. Not get it twisted.
But there's definitely deals to be had. And the biggest thing is, and the hardest part, I guess, where I've had to kind of change my strategy is because we're pretty centralized on what we like to buy. When we're buying for ourselves, we're big on Mahomes. We just kind of started doing some PC purchases, with Sky Moore, Aiden Hutchinson,
Jared Goff, baby.
Jared Goff. We got some nice Goffs.
He's so much fun. He's so cheap compared to everyone. I mean, granted, he's not done anything spectacular yet, but got the lines that seemingly head in the right direction.
He's going to be an MVP candidate next year.
Yeah.
You watch.
Yeah.
Make your bets now.
Yeah,
I love it. Jamal Williams will be a good PC for you guys.
His stuff's cheap too.
His stuff's extremely cheap.
Yeah.
So one thing when I've started looking at the PWCC, and I kind of took this a little bit from Jeremy and Icy Ice on Instagram, is you just kind of if you can make money on it and if you can buy it right, just buy it.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't buy it.
Who cares if you like it or not, or as long as you can buy it right and it makes sense. Take those 5 and 10% wins. And we never used to buy graded, and now when we're buying stuff to flip, we're not buying as much raw as we used to.
No, it is so hard to find.
We're buying mainly graded because
everyone's sending their good raw cards to us already, but there's no good raw cards.
So, but take those 5 and 10% wins, and in some cases you can even hit for 20% if you're picky, and just be disciplined. Whether you're watching. We've talked about eBay auctions that end at weird times. Sometimes you'll get somebody that ends an auction at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, that's going to go low. So it's just, buy what makes sense that you can easily flip and make money on. Make sure it's a popular name, and there's plenty of opportunity in the hobby. The hobby is not dead at all.
Stuff's selling for a little, but there's so much money out there for pieces of cardboard.
I had this thesis that for some people who, and I don't know,
that's a fancy word.
Oh, thesis. What?
Yeah, well, please.
All right.
He doesn't know what a thesis is.
He is like,
okay, let me rephrase
What's
this.
about your thesis?
So I had an idea. We'll start that.
Oh, now it's an idea. I thought it was a thesis.
No, Tommy. I told you were handsome the other day. I take that back.
Fine.
I might have
Go on
been
with
day
the
drinking. So you guys are working 8 days a week. You made tremendous sacrifice leaving, guaranteed money at a job, security for your family to do this. So the only way that you're going to be successful is through hard work. And I'm sure as you ascended in your prior careers and as you've built TNT, one common theme has been hard work. There's a lot of people who entered the hobby where you could just buy something on eBay, get the card, sell it a couple days later, and make easy money. Now, throughout that, for myself and Courtney specifically, some of those gains were cool, but we were always trying to be like, what's next? Because this isn't always going to be forever. So if things shift or pivot, or like when PSA stopped, hell, we figured out how to make money with HGA. We figured out a way to make money with SGC. We're constantly trying stuff. So the one thing that I hope people take away from here is like the actual recipe to success isn't that crazy. It's just a willingness to do work. I mean, you guys just said that you're swamped and you're still figuring out a way to watch all these auctions. It takes me a few hours just to get through PWCC. You're going to add Golden. I'm big on Discord because there's always people trying to, get liquid, or they got to pay some bills. We're always buying, selling, trading on Twitter. There's so many different avenues that if you're willing to put in some work, you can be successful. So my thesis was folks who are blue collar or had to work to get where they're at, this little correction or downslide, it's maybe you're not seeing the returns that you're used to, but it hasn't impacted you where some of these other folks are just throwing their hands up and quitting or just saying the hobby's dead.
Yeah. I mean, anybody can get lucky, right? And that's what happened during COVID. It was, you could pretty much just fall into any deal you made. You could probably turn it around and make money.
No matter what you bought, a month later it was worth more. And then if you waited an extra month, it was worth even more. Everything just kept going up. It's not that way anymore. But
you know what? I like where it's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy cool cards again for reasonable money. You don't have to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to get, a gold, select card of somebody. I mean, you can finally buy, some of these cards that were untouchable, for a lot of people. It's still better than what it was when we got into it.
Yeah. Stuff still sells
back
for
in
way
2018, more. I remember when we started going hard on football, it would have been the 2018, would have been Lamar Jackson's rookie year, Josh Allen.
Sam Darnold.
You could have bought Prism Color of Josh Allen for $30 to $40 a pop, right? I mean, what these rookies are selling for right now is better than that, right? So the money, it's still so much better, and it's probably just going to go up once all the dust settles a little bit. Right now, the way I look at it is, the hobby's getting rid of the riffraff, and the people that are in the hobby for the right reasons, because they actually enjoy it. They like cards. It's not just all about the money. I mean, do we like money? Yes. But, we both left money on the table compared to what we're making right now. Now, end game, could it be better? Yeah, I think it will, or we probably wouldn't be doing it the way that we're doing it right now. But I think you're just getting rid of the riffraff, and the real people that have been a part of the hobby for a long time are probably as excited as we are, that some of that riffraff's going away.
Are you guys happy and having more fun than your previous job?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. 100%. Yeah.
I tried to get Jeremy to quit his job to do the podcast full time, but he said no. So
Jump in.
I got to go back to my 8-hour day.
Jeremy, you and Courtney just need to move to Portage, and
We'll merge.
We'll merge.
Yeah, there you go.
We will make it happen.
I
to the moon.
Amen. But here's the thing: you don't want to see my expense report. I promise you, you don't.
What?
Business will go under because Jeremy flies Delta first class all the time, and the profits for 1 week are gone.
But the water is way cleaner. The water's way cleaner in Portage than it is where you are. I just want to say that's kind of, you might want to move that way for that reason only.
Was that an attempt at a Flint water joke?
Oh yeah.
Danny?
Oh yeah, it was.
Well done.
Yeah. Well done.
Good on you. He's so excited. He's gonna text me later. He's like, "I got you, buddy." So we asked this when we talked to people. In your opinion, and I already know what you guys do. What can people do to help grow the pie and make the community a better place?
Just be nice, right? I mean, as simple as that sounds, just be nice. There's so many people that are just looking to fleece somebody, bad practices, the shill bidding on eBay that goes on to try to keep cards at a certain price. I think that's the biggest thing. On Facebook, I see it all the time. Somebody posts a card for sale at a price that maybe somebody doesn't like. Instead of just moving on to the next post, they want to, price bash. Just little things.
Everyone's got an opinion. Just keep your opinion. If it's negative, just keep it to yourself. Yeah. No one wants to hear you.
Mm-hmm. The stealing, the theft you see at some of the card shows. There's no need for that. All we're talking about is just cardboard. Yep.
I'll tell you one thing that you guys have done a tremendous job, and it's really been a value add to. Everybody knows Courtney does the scavenger hunt for the kids at the Shipshewana show. She's been doing it for a while now, and you guys have been gracious enough to donate free grading. So not only are these kids opening, in the past you've also donated slabs and wax. So not only are these kids opening it and finding a slab or getting a pack from a blaster or a hobby box, but now they've introduced grading, the golden ticket grading. So
we're
these little kids.
Yeah, we're doing more this time.
We're going from 10 to 20.
20
tickets. My biggest gripe is these people who go like, oh, I give cards to kids, and what it is just a bunch of base crap from 1987 of players that these kids have never worked with, and then they beat on their chest how great they are. You guys are like, we were doing live breaks, and kids are like getting, like silvers of rookie quarterbacks, turning around, taking their free ticket, walking over to Tommy and saying, no day off this Sunday. Get my card graded.
One guy hit a LaMelo Ball Prism Silver PSA 10.
That is awesome.
Yeah, he just paid the difference.
Yeah, he had to pay a little bit out of pocket, but because I think back then the cheapest option with PSA might have been economy. Because I think it might have been the first time we did the golden ticket.
$50 now with 19.
But yeah, no, I mean, he was thrilled. That's what it's all about. Tommy always brings his two kids to trade night, and
they have a blast.
Love it.
We don't typically get too many deals done on trade night because we're just kind of babysitting them, but that's just as much fun to us.
They'll always remember that experience, and I tell people this all the time. One of our favorite things is we have two teenagers, and the fact that we can just say, hey, we're going to throw a dart at a map to go do a card show, and the kids are all in. Mm-hmm. Not only our kids are with us, but they're teenagers. They have their own lives, but the fact they want to hang out with mom and dad, they have a blast at the show. They're learning real life skills that'll be applicable in future endeavors. Steven continues to get ripped off because he refuses to utilize any of the resources that he has available. So he's going to learn the hard way. But, we value being able to spend that time. So when I see, you walking your kids at trade night and the joy that goes with that, I absolutely love that. I can't wait for Kai and Lala to be a little bit older where they truly, it's not just everybody showering them with Pokemon cards and it's on to the next thing. Like when they enjoy it a little bit more, but that's just it just makes for an awesome experience. Like I cherish those memories more than any money that's going to come through the door.
Yeah.
That was a mic drop moment. It got really quiet there.
I mean, you have me all sentimental. I think about my kids. I'm like, dang, I want my kids to be older so I can take them to the card shows.
So they're into it.
In the future, you don't do it. In the future, I know like PSA came out with like grading Funko Pops, and there's CSG with comic books. Do you guys ever plan to like extend to those type of markets, or just stick with cards for now?
Stick with cards
Mainly
for
cards.
now. I mean,
we'll send stuff in for people on like the Funko Pops and that kind of stuff, but
we don't get a discount, so
Yep.
we're gonna have to charge more than what PSA is charging. I mean, if someone doesn't want to deal with the paperwork, we'll do it. But
Yep.
I don't think we've sent any Funko Pops.
yeah, we haven't done any Funko Pops. We do tickets, but that's the same thing. We don't get deals on tickets
Beckett
yet.
started doing VHS tapes.
They're doing tickets now too.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
But
we've done quite a few tickets. The tickets were, kind of become more popular.
Yeah, Austin, he likes doing his tickets.
Mm-hmm.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask this. Before we clicked live, I think Kenny was getting ready to leave, and he's like, my first day, I was handling $250,000 cards, and I thought this was the coolest thing ever. And every day, $250,000 cards.
That's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's not untypical for us to get $100,000 worth of cards in the mail on a daily basis, right? And in the beginning, for him and even for us, like when things really started to take off, one of the things I enjoyed doing more than anything else is what was coming in. But it's crazy. Over time, you just get used to it. You still appreciate it. Like, oh, wow, this is a cool card. But it takes a little bit more
this
to...
This is the 12th Trevor Lawrence NTRPA that we've seen. Okay, it was cool the first time. 12th one you're kind of like,
No, but every time I'm in there, it's like PMGs, and I feel like a kid in a candy store because I truly love just looking at awesome cards.
We
so I was
some
in there.
of the coolest cards. We have like the best customers, man. They send us the coolest freaking stuff on the planet, and we can't thank them enough for just the.
We graded out of the Trevor Lawrence Prism Golds this year. I think we sent in 4 of them
from Prism, and
Optic,
probably 3 or 4.
We've done.
We probably did 35 Trey Lance NTRPAs.
Yeah,
he was the hot topic going into the season. We were getting his NTRPAs like crazy.
We got the Trevor Lawrence Field Level 101, the Mac Jones Field Level 101, the Gold Vinyl Trey Lance.
Yeah,
and it's like at least once a week you get one of those cards, and it's just like, good Lord,
Don't forget the Mbappe. The Mbappe 101.
Yeah,
the Mbappe 101.
Yeah.
So I've been to your facility a few times.
Jeremy wanted to buy it. He never got back to me with a number, by the way.
He called me that same day and was like, "Hey,
Kenny and I missed Jeremy. So you were at a birthday party when I sent you a picture of it, because I was curious, because I know you know your soccer pretty well, so I was curious what your value was on it. And because we don't do a lot of soccer ourselves.
The customer wasn't sure either. Is this a $10,000 card or is it a $200,000 card? He wasn't 100% sure either.
And Jeremy didn't text back. He did a voice recording. And we probably listened to that voice recording 10, 15 times. And I can't remember what it basically at one point.
Your boy's interested.
Yep. I'll get back to you. I'm dealing with the kid's birthday party right now.
Your boy's interested. I'll get back to you.
Man.
But we got some good laughs out of that, But it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, seeing that's like the best part of the job is seeing the cards. I say we get numb to it, but it's still pretty freaking cool.
There's got to be a level.
Then when they get the good grade, then that's nice.
Yeah. The worst part is when they send those cards and you tell them,
this. I mean, this year, I haven't been this excited about a grade in a long time. I mean, I know it's only Sky Moore, but a Kaboom 101. It just, it just gives you those, I don't know, butterflies, whatever you want to call them. It just gets you pumped up.
No, I mean, in each card, any particular card to any person could be, whether it's $250,000 or $25. The excitement in Courtney at trade night because you brought in a PSA order that just popped and we had no idea. And Court came back so excited that Erling Haaland that we cracked that came back a PSA 10, that gold. Yep. It was like through the roof. That was they talk of the night. That made her day. And the card was cool, but you're also involved in that because you get to deliver that good message. And who doesn't want to deal with a human being when you're like, hey, I'm about to give you good news. Like that makes it a badass experience.
Yeah, we get excited when we get our grades, so we know, we've done it so many thousand times that we know what it's like for customers, especially a lot of them when it's their
first
or
thing I
second time.
check when an order pops. Do we have cards on it?
Yeah.
Then after that, I look at yours. But no, first thing I look at, do we have cards on it, and what did they get?
That is incredible. Yeah, so I've been there a few times, and so I'm kind of used. I'm used to all the fire everywhere, and I'd have to go to university for 12 years to have the vocabulary to describe what's going on at your place. But Manny was like tugging at my shirt, almost like, Dad, you see that? Dad, you see that? Dad,
Yeah,
yeah.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and I'm like, Manny, I'll be with you in a second. This swindler across the room is trying to sell me.
What's his face?
Oh, we just got a ton of Daniel Jones.
That's what I saw.
You saw those?
They're opening the package, it was just Daniel Jones, and I'm like, you guys are talking, and I'm just like this to Jeremy. Jeremy, look at this, Jeremy. I don't know if you noticed. I was like, please, just look. And then I saw the Luca auto that was numbered, and I was like, oh my God, that Luca's my guy. Like, that's my favorite player. So I was like, oh, I'm like a fly going towards the light when I see cards.
So, guys, we want to thank you for jumping on. Before we get out of here, where can everybody find you guys? I know that you mentioned that there's a website in the works. I don't know if it's up yet, but
that's going to be a while. it's
close, but not so close.
At TNT Cards, what is it? At TNTcards.mi.
Yeah, for IG.
IG, and then that's probably the best place to start. We do have a Facebook group as well.
TNT Sports Cards Group Submissions.
Yep. Just look for the TNT logo.
Here's their Instagram. If you're looking
on our Instagram, there is a link tree that does have our
Facebook
and everything linked right to it.
Perfect, man. You guys are a blast. I prefer Tyler over Tommy. I always thought me and Tommy were boys, but he's essentially dead to me after Raider. But man, I wish you guys nothing but health, wealth, and success. Please continue to do what you're doing. You're making the hobby a better place, and you're going to make a lot of people's lives easier. And I suspect that in, whether it's 12, 18, 24 months, you won't even know who Manny and I are. You guys will be so big.
We're just following your lead.
You're day one.
You're the leader. We just follow.
And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed your hobby release, and we'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.
See you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.